Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Slacker 82 Alpha. Maverick in the booth. Lock the doors. Nobody gets out. Nobody. Left side lying. Right side crying. Think of the names on the ballot. Throw the whole box in the gutter. Red tie, blue tie, same vulture. Feeding on the scraps of the street. You talk big from the hill, but the basement is flooding. Promises rot in the sun, like trash on the curb. I see the wolf in the vest, see the wolf in the vest. You think you are untouchable. I am the heavy hand. I am the cold wake-up call. No more handshakes, no more fake smiles. Just the raw truth, slapping into your chest. No one is safe. Maverick is here. The wrath is coming down. Break the lock, kick the door. No one is safe. Truth is like a hammer. Truth hits is like a hammer. Red or blue, you will fall. Slacker 82 Alpha. I don't care who you vote for. You are all getting played. The system is a rusted trap, and I am the one with the bolt cutters. Shout it till your lungs burst. Shout it ugly and loud. The truth is ugly and loud. Stop looking for a hero. Look at the dirt on your hands. They sell you a vision, then they steal your boots. I am the noise in the alley, the grit in your teeth. I keep your head down, or get it taken off. The truth is out. Maverick is the judge. Court is in session. Shut it down. Slash down. Slacker 82 Alpha. We out.
All right. This is Maverick. We're back. Another edition, Slacker 82. So, after yesterday's response from you guys, I decided to come back today and do another one. There was such a good response. You guys came out and, like always, I mean, you guys always, you faithful listeners of this show have always came out and, supported the show. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you supporting the new show and the way it is. I got some good feedback. I mean, and then I got some, you hit Trump too much. And then others, you didn't hit Trump enough. We're trying to please everybody. It just happens that whatever I feel like talking about, that's what we're going to talk about. Whoever it is, well, I'm sorry. It's Trump, it's Trump. If it's somebody else, it's somebody else. All right, let's get into this. Let's see what's going on in the news today. So, U.S. intelligence says Iran can outlast Trump's Hormuz blockade for months. Now, I'm pretty sure I said this yesterday, that they were prepared for this. They were prepared for the long haul. They knew they were going to take some hits, and they did. Their Navy and their Air Force, if you believe Trump, that we destroyed, them. But this is very interesting. Confidential CIA analyst delivered administration policymakers this week concludes that Iran can survive the U.S. naval blockade for at least 3 to 4 months before facing more severe economic hardship. 4 people familiar with the document said a finding that appears to raise new questions about President Donald Trump's optimism of ending the war. The analysts by the the analysts by the U.S. intelligence community whose secret assessment on Iran have often been more sober than the administration's public statements. And let's see, found Tehran retains significant ballistic missile capabilities despite weeks of intense U.S. and Israel bombardment. Three of the people familiar with it said Iran retains 75% of its pre war inventories, such as mobile launchers, and 70% of its pre war stockpiles of missiles, the U.S. official said. The official said there is evidence that the regime has been able to recover and reopen almost all the underground storage facilities, repair some damaged missiles, and even assemble new ones that were nearly completed when the war began. So, I mean, it's a war of words, really. I mean, you have to sit back and you go, all right, who's telling the truth? Is Iran telling the truth? Is the Trump administration telling the truth? I don't know. Yeah, I have my opinion. My opinion is that Iran is telling the truth. I mean, uh, and I said it yesterday. Iran has nothing to lose, really. I mean, when you're used to the sanctions, you're used to these things. I mean, and they're willing. They knew the longer they hold out, the more pressure was put on Trump to do something, to end this thing. Let me see what else it says here. Trump painted a rosier picture in the Oval Office remarks on Wednesday, saying Iran, their missiles were almost decimated. They have probably 18, 19%, but not a lot by comparison to what they had. Three current and one former U.S. official confirmed the outlines of the intelligence analysis, speaking on condition of anonymity to discuss the sensitive matter. As for comment, a senior U.S. intelligence official emphasized the blockade's impact. The president's blockade is inflicting real compounding damage, severe trade, crushing revenue, and accelerating systemic economic collapse. Iran's military has been badly degraded, its navy destroyed, same old shit that we hear every day. Leaders are hiding. The leaders are in hiding. The official who would not authorize to speak on record said in a statement. What's left is a regime appetite for civilian suffering, starving its own people to prolong a war that is already lost. And then it goes on, Hegseth. Trump's defense secretary Pete Hegseth and other officials consistently presented the war as an overwhelming U.S. military victory, which we don't dispute that fact. We don't dispute the fact that our military did its job, went in there and, hit the targets it needed to hit and, those things. Nobody disputes that. We dispute the fact that we've destroyed them completely where they're not able to do anything, which they keep proving that is not true. When they're launching missiles into Dubai and in other places, they're making it known that it's not true, that their capabilities aren't destroyed. Let's see. Overwhelming military victory. Okay. Despite Iran's rejection of Washington's demands and abandon its nuclear enrichment, surrender its uranium stockpiles, open administrative moves, and taking other steps. Trump called the blockade unbelievable on Wednesday. The Navy has been incredible. The job they did. It's like a wall of steel. Nobody goes through, he said. On a prior day, he said Iran's economy is crashing, their currency is worthless, and they can't pay their soldiers. I mean, look, I just, do I believe all that? I believe that they still have the things that they have. I believe that they had more than we knew that they had. I said yesterday, I believe that's why we did not try to take the strait, from them, because we knew that it's heavily fortified. I mean, they knew it. They knew it. They knew that Iran knew that they were going to get bombed by Iran, and by us and Israel. So they were prepared for that, but they were dug in around the strait, and so that's why I don't believe everything that Trump is saying. That's saying that we could have done this or we could have done that or we didn't do this because of this. It just doesn't make sense to me. I mean, there's a reason we didn't take the strait or try to take it. And like I said yesterday, there was going to be a lot of casualties on both sides, probably a lot on our side. And I think, and thank goodness that he didn't, thank goodness that he was smart enough to say, you know what, I'm glad somebody is thinking with a good mind and telling him it wasn't a good idea. But, I mean, he should have never went in to begin with. I mean, like we talked about yesterday, I still don't. I still think it was a bad idea. Um, it just didn't make any sense to me. But here we are, 60 plus days in, billions of dollars. What, 25 billion? I think, or probably more than that now. 25 billion in, and we are where we are. No closer to end this thing, even though we keep hearing, we extended the ceasefire because, Iran's willing to negotiate with us. I'm so sick of hearing that crap. I mean, if it's not happening, just say it's not happening. Don't just keep saying, oh, yeah, they're negotiating. And then Iran says, no, we're not. And then Trump says, oh, yeah, they're negotiating. We're talking with people. We're talking with somebody. And Iran says, he must be talking to himself because we don't know who he's talking to. Things like that. It's just, it makes Trump look ridiculous and it makes the country look ridiculous. And we don't need any more of that. We are destroying ourselves from within already. So anyway, that's with that. So it looks like the White House sent Rubio to the Vatican to meet with the Pope, try to repair the, discord, if you will, between Trump and him. It's more between Trump because Trump's the one who keeps doing it. So let me see. It says Pope Leo actually calls out Trump's lies. All right. So has any prior pope ever called out the U.S. president for lying? Has any president ever repeatedly, publicly, falsely accused the pope of taking position unethical to the Catholic teaching? It would be hard to overstate how unprecedented this situation is. It's hard to just fathom. At least 4 times in recent weeks, President Donald Trump has implied or outright stated that Pope Leo, I'm not good at his numbers, whatever, approved of Iran having a nuclear weapon. The Pope made a statement. He says the Pope made a statement. He says Iran can have a nuclear weapon, he claimed on April 16th exchange with a reporter. No such statement, needless to say, existed, and the false claim was immediately debunked by the Catholic sources and by mainstream media outlets. Yesterday, May 5th, Trump doubled down on his preposterous falsehood. The Pope would rather talk about the fact that it's okay for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. I don't think that's very good. I think that he's endangering a lot of Catholics and a lot of people. But I guess if it's up to the Pope, okay, he thinks it's just fine for Iran to have a nuclear weapon. This is outrageous lie elicited a jaded dismissal from the Vatican Secretary of State, Cardinal Pietro Parolin, I don't know, who downplayed the possibility that Pope Leo himself responding to this new provocation. Pope goes forward on his path in the sense of preaching the gospel of preaching peace. Even in the face of these new attacks, I don't know whether the Pope will have an occasion to respond. The Pope has already responded. I would not add anything. Later that day, though, Pope Leo find time to respond, and his response is extraordinary. Against Trump's false claim, he simply invoked the church's longstanding position against all nuclear weapons. He emphasized that it's an ongoing war and calling for peace. He is simply proclaiming the gospel of peace. And an unmistakable reference to the false falsity of the charge of his position on Iran having a nuclear weapon. He called anyone wanting to criticize his message to do so truthfully or with the truth. So there you go. Pope says, Trump, you're a liar. Leave me alone. You know, and I'm just going to tell you this, Trump. If you're looking to get into heaven, fighting with the Pope isn't the way to do it. It's just not the way to do it. The Pope's got the big guy's ear, so I'm not sure that you want to pick a fight with the Pope. But hey, that's just my opinion. Just my opinion. Take it or leave it. So anyway, they sent Rubio. To let's see. Rubio visits Rome, aiming to repair the White House ties with Pope Leo. State Department said a pair discussed the situation in the Middle East, topics of mutual interest in the Western Hemisphere on Thursday. That's probably an interesting conversation. Again, I just gotta say to Trump, it's not a good idea to fight with the Pope. Doesn't make you look good. Yeah, it doesn't make you look good. But anyway, what else do we got here? Let's see what else I had written down here. Oh yeah, let's see here. Where is it? I saw that they were talking about closing Allagator Alcatraz. Let's see. Here it is. Here is the article here. Federal and state officials discuss closing Florida's Allagator Alcatraz. The immigrant detention center in Everglades, which Ron DeSantis, a Republican, opened last July, may be too expensive to keep operating. Somebody should have kind of thought of that before. Florida is in talks with Trump administration to shut down the high-profile immigration detention center that opened last summer in Everglades, and as a cost, the state hundreds of millions of dollars to operate, according to the federal official. Former immigration and customs enforcement official and person close to the administration of Ron DeSantis. The shutdown talks are preliminary, and the people said, but the officials of the Homeland Security have concluded that it's too expensive to keep operating the center, known as Allagator Alcatraz. Homeland Security officials have also come to consider the center ineffective. The federal officials said all three people spoke on condition of anonymity and discussed internal talks. DeSantis has been spending more than $1 million a day to run the center, which is in a swampy, isolated area in Miami, between Miami and Naples. Some private vendors hired by the state to operate it have been struggling to front the costs, according to the person close to DeSantis' administration. The Department of Homeland Security did not respond to the request for comment. Neither did the Florida Division of Emergency Management, which operates the center. Nor did Mr. DeSantis' office. $1 million a day. Can you imagine that? I mean, did someone not think this through? I mean, they rushed it to get open. I mean, we live here in Florida, and they rushed that place to get it open because they needed a place to put people. But I mean, who anybody who would think that spending $1 million a day, $1 million a day, and the thing's been open since when? Let me see. Let me go back. I think it opened. Let's see. Did I miss that somewhere in there? I don't know. I think it's been open since like last year or something. Opened last July. So hasn't even been open a year yet. That's a lot of money. hundreds of millions of dollars we spent on this place. Not to mention the cost to build it out there because it's in the middle of the freaking Everglades. Um, so the cost there, but for some reason, somebody thought it was a good idea to spend that kind of money. That's kind of stupid, actually. Um, yeah. So, I mean, that's just crazy money. He could have built a prison, a regular prison for less than that, and housed all these people in there instead of building a place in the middle of the Everglades. Which I don't understand that either. I don't understand the thinking that putting it out there where it is. I mean, it's in the middle of nowhere. Um, okay. Oh, if they escape, they'll get eaten by alligators. Yep, right. You're probably right. But I mean, I don't think anybody tried to escape. Why would they? Um, but yeah, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Oh, excuse me. So, well, I mean, here we are. What are we in May? Going on June? No, we just started May. So June. Let me see. Oh, lost my screen. Let's see. And so we got July, August, September, October, November. We're what 5 months away from the midterms, which, in my opinion, we're going to lose. We'll for sure lose the House. Senate, we may squeak by if we're lucky. But with all this crap going on, gas prices as high as they are, and they're not going to be any lower by then. I don't see us winning anything. I think we lose both the House and the Senate. And if we do that, you can guarantee Trump's going to be impeached. Whether or not, I mean, the impeachment will go through, but whether or not, it's enough to oust him, whether they get enough to do that, probably not. But it'll be what, the third time he's been impeached. But you can guarantee that, and they'll impeach others, not just him. Probably Hegseth and some others will get rounded up in that too. But yeah, so I mean that's again, people, my opinion. Not saying that's going to happen, but there's probably a good chance if they win, even if they just win the House, you can be sure that they'll try to impeach him. Again, probably it won't. I mean, if we manage to hold on to the Senate, and it's only going to be by a thin margin, I'm sure. If we do, it'll be a problem. But anyway, my reason for bringing that up was that there's a new virus. If you haven't heard, the rat virus. I'm not kidding. That's the name of it. I think that's what they're calling it, the rat virus. Let me see. Race to track rat virus passengers. Global effort to stop. What did it say? Global effort to stop spread. Panic hits Texas, and Virginia. COVID flashbacks. Masks up. All right. So let's see what they got to say. Countries scrambling to track passengers. A virus hit cruise ship. Now, I mean, why did we let these people off? Let's see. Countries worldwide scramble on Thursday to trace people who had left their cruise ship hit by Hanta. I think it's a Hanta virus outbreak before it got marooned off the coast of Cape Verde, in effort to prevent further spread of the disease. These people, a Dutch couple, a German national, died in the outbreak on the MV Hundis. I don't know. 8 people, including a Swiss citizen, were suspected of having contracted the virus, according to the World Health Organization. Dutch government on Wednesday said around 40 passengers have disembarked the ship in Santa Helena, where the ship made a stop on its way to Cape Verde before outbreak was reported. The whereabouts of these passengers is yet unknown. Uh, one of those disembarked. One of those to disembark was the wife of the Dutchman who died on the ship on April 11th. She felt sick herself and died before she could reach the Netherlands. Oh, all right. Dutch Airlines, KLM, on Wednesday said it had taken a woman off the plane in Johannesburg on April 25th due to her deteriorating medical condition. Virus found in the victims has been confirmed as the Andine strain, which can spread among humans through very close contact. Sound familiar? 6 feet. Stay 6 feet away. Wear your mask. Experts have stressed the contagion is very rare, but an outbreak has put health authorities on high alert. United States Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, said on Wednesday it was closely monitoring the situation with U.S. travelers on board the ship, adding that the risk to the American public was extremely low at this time. Sounds familiar again. What was it, January, where it's saying January, early February? No, there's no way. This is not coming here. We're not, Then what happened? All hell broke loose. All right. French Foreign Minister Jean-Noel Barrot on Thursday said the French citizen has been in contact with the people who had fallen ill but was not currently showing symptoms. Argentina's health minister said it will carry out rodent trapping and analyze analysis in the southern city of Ushuaia. I don't know. The original point of the cruise ship. The MV Honduras, which nearly 150 people on board, is expected to dock in Spain and the Canary Islands on Saturday. Some of the people are still on the ship. All right. So, my point to all that was to go back to here we are, 5 months, I said, until the midterms. And then how convenient is that a virus is floating around out there? I mean, you can't make this stuff up. You really can't. I mean, you can't make these things up. It just, I don't know. I mean, and I don't know. Maybe that's a little conspiracy theorist in me, thinking those things. But I'm sure a lot of you are thinking the same thing. I mean, it's pretty convenient. 5 months away. We're going to have elections, and there's a mysterious virus floating around. Who's putting masks on? Let me saw something here. Virus chaos in Europe as hantavirus cases spread with mask up warnings issued. The world is watching the hantavirus appear as it spreads the globe. One expert issued advice that could see the return of coronavirus pandemic era rule. There you go, folks. Leading expert has warned that masks might need to return to stem the deadly outbreak of the hantavirus. The world is currently watching the outbreak originate on a luxury cruise ship in the South Atlantic and claims 3 lives and left several others fighting for survival. Health officials have issued urgent mask up warnings for all those in close contact potential cases, as a fear grows of potential human-to-human transmission of the strain typically found in South America as a result. Well, there you go. If you still got your mask from Corona days, you're good to go. If not, you may want to pick some up. Let me see. It said something about Texas and rat virus panic hits Texas and Virginia as passengers aboard return to the States. 2 Texans and 1 Virginian are being monitored for as being identified as passengers on a cruise ship plagued by the hantavirus outbreak. Nice. Tourists were aboard the MV Honduras. I don't know. When the sickness broke out last month and returned to the U.S. before it was identified, according to state authorities. Both passengers from the Lone Star State have no symptoms and did not. Oh, I lost it. Crap. I lost my place here. No symptoms and did not have contact with anyone unwell, Texas Department of Health and Service said Thursday. They agreed to monitor themselves for symptoms and daily temperature checks, according to the release. Passengers will conduct public health officials contact if any sign of possible illness. Virginian passenger is also in good health, no signs of infection, according to health officials. All right, there you go. Oh, wait a minute. As of Wednesday, American officials were already monitoring residents in 3 other states, Arizona, California, and Georgia, for potential hantavirus infections. All right, well, how'd they get it if they weren't on the cruise ship? I don't know. It's a good question. But like I said, just everybody be safe, pay attention. Look, it wouldn't surprise me. It just would not surprise me. Nothing surprises me anymore. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It just doesn't surprise me anymore. I was reading an article about this Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie, I don't know how to pronounce her name. Her mother was kidnapped or whatever. Well, now it says police rushed to an area near Nancy Guthrie's home after streamer finds human bones. Human bones found close to Nancy Guthrie's home do not belong to 84 missing. Oh, very good. Oh, that's a good thing. Elderly mother of Today's Show host Savannah Guthrie disappeared on February 1st, and police believe she was kidnapped from her Tucson home. It's a crazy story. I've been following that since it happened, and then it got quiet for a little bit. We haven't really heard a whole lot, but glad to hear that it's not her. That gives some hope that she's still out there somewhere, and that the idiots that are holding her are dumb to kill her. But all right. What else we got here? So yeah, I mean I haven't heard anything. I haven't seen anything. No quotes today or anything that Iran is close to signing a deal, and all these things. Let's see what we got here. There's something for Trump's abrupt U-turn on a plan to reopen the Strait of Hormuz came after backlash from allies. Saudi Arabia, a key Gulf ally, suspended the U.S. military's ability to use their base and airspace to carry out the operation, source said. Oh, all right, let's go a little further here. President Donald Trump abrupt reverse on his plan to help ships go through the strait came after a key Gulf ally suspended U.S. military ability to use base and airspace to carry out operation. Excuse me. According to U.S. officials, Trump surprised Gulf allies by announcing Project Freedom on social media Sunday afternoon. The officials said angering leadership in Saudi Arabia. In response, the kingdom informed the U.S. it would not allow U.S. military to fly aircraft from Prince Sultan Air Base, southeast of Riyadh, or fly through Saudi Arabia airspace in support of the effort. Call between Trump and Saudi Crown Prince. I thought the Saudi Crown Prince was like Trump's bestie. Apparently not. Call between Trump and the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman did not resolve the issue, the two U.S. officials said, forcing the president to pause Project Freedom in order to restore U.S. military access to critical airspace. Other close Gulf allies were also caught off guard. The president spoke with leaders in Qatar after the effort had already begun. Saudi news source told NBC News I lost it. That Trump and Saudi Crown Prince have been in touch regularly. Saudi officials were also in touch with Trump. Vice President J.D. Vance, U.S. Central Command, and Secretary Marco Rubio. So Project Freedom is on hold here, or what? I guess. Excuse me. Get rid of this cough. Yeah. So there you go. It's just the never-ending seesaw of the Iran war. Excuse me, mini war. I think that's what we're calling it right now. We went from a conflict to a war. Went to a war, it went to a conflict, and now it's a mini war. So we'll call it the mini war. They released Epstein's suicide note. It's a bunch of crap. I looked at it. I saw the note. I looked at it. I don't believe it. I mean, I never have. I never believed that he killed himself. And you're never going to convince me of the fact that he did. Even though Bongino and Cash came out and saying, "Oh, we read everything. He killed himself." Yeah, you're full of crap. That's why I said yesterday that Bongino's a sellout. He knew, and then he got a conscience all of a sudden, and decided to leave that position, after taking a lot of heat from a lot of people, a lot of his fans. Now he's back doing podcasts and stuff, and I won't listen to him anymore because I think he's a sellout. He's trying to, make himself the chief, the master again of podcasting, and trying to talk a big game, but he's a piece of shit. Sorry, that's what Again, my opinion. I mean, you guys might like him. Somebody might like him out there. I don't. After that, after he tried to, pull the wool over the American people's eyes and saying, "Oh, I seen everything," and he killed himself. And then them trying to convince you that there was no pedophile ring. There was no, Jeffrey Epstein wasn't trafficking children, and but yet the girlfriend Maxine, I don't know, whatever her name is, Maxwell is her last name, is in jail for trafficking children to Epstein, but yet according to them, Epstein didn't do anything. So why is she in jail for 10 years if he didn't do it? And so who was she trafficking children to? Herself? I mean, there's just so many questions about that. And we're not hearing anything about it because of the mini war. Now there's a mini war going on. So the Epstein has taken a back seat in the media and everything because we're so, it's a distraction. The mini war is a distraction from everything that was going on. He was catching so much heat, and the administration was catching so much heat for not telling the truth, the truth that he said that he would. He ran on transparency. We're going to be the most transparent administration. We're going to tell you everything. We're going to tell you everything that's going on. And they've been the complete opposite of transparent. They've been hiding everything. And, whether or not Trump is all, was part of all that or wasn't part of all that, he is covering for somebody. And I believe he's covering for some big donors, some big people, friends of his, that asked him, "Hey, can you make this thing go away?" Just keep, and he keeps saying, "Oh, we're still talking about the Epstein stuff." I mean, he doesn't fool anybody. He thinks he's fooling somebody, but there isn't. It doesn't fool me. And it just doesn't make any sense. It's all a big distraction. It's all a big distraction, you know. It's, hey, look over here. Don't look, look to the left, and don't worry about what the right's doing. Like the Wizard of Oz, where don't mind the man behind the curtain. Don't mind him. He's just there. Just look over here. Because this is the Oz over here. You know, uh, and it just it's a mess. And will we ever know? Probably not. Just like will we know about everything about JFK? No. You know, um, what's funny to me, and I know I'm jumping again. I was just on the whole cover up thing. We talked about the so-called attempt at the White House correspondent dinner uh, last week or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was, which we all know was a bunch of shit. It's fake, a staged event. Um, you know, so. But then you go back to Butler, Pennsylvania. Now people are saying that was staged. That he didn't really get hit by a bullet. That it was the teleprompter that got hit and the glass shattered, and that's what cut him. And then because everybody's saying, the miracle healing, of the ear, no scar, nothing, and then I was on X and people were arguing about that, and somebody said, "Oh, haven't you ever heard of surgery?" He didn't have any surgery on his ear. I mean, he didn't. There was no surgery done on his ear. Um, so it just. Do I believe because that came out originally that it wasn't the bullet that hit him, it was the glass that hit him. Um, but then it didn't, it kind of went away. Oh well, the bullet hit him, sped by his ear, um, and so I mean, you got to use your own judgment. You got to use your own research, to what you believe and what you don't believe. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm giving you my opinion. Um, but that's my opinion. My opinion is the White House correspondent dinner was definitely a staged event. I mean, if you can't tell that from watching the videos, uh, then you're an idiot. Sorry, you're just an idiot. Um, because nothing says more than staged event than that. The butler, I don't believe that it was just this kid. I believe that there was more. I believe that the angles of the bullets and stuff prove that there was a more than one shooter. Um, you know, but I mean, again, here we are, well, a year plus, a year and a half out from the Butler incident, we'll call it. Um, and we know nothing, zero, zip about the shooter. But this White House correspondent dinner, we knew everything about this guy. And we know everything about this guy, which is unbelievable. You know what I mean? I mean, the Butler shooting, we know nothing about the shooter. Absolutely nothing. We had video, all kinds of stuff. We had some videos of the guy climbing on the roof or whatever, and Butler, but you know, it's the same thing with the Charlie Kirk shooting. I don't believe that kid did it. There's no, I mean, and they're coming out more and more that the bullet didn't match the kid's gun, and you know, it just there's so much there, and then the fact that they're trying to rush it, rush the speedy trial. She chose, oh, poor Erica, she needed a speedy trial. She wants to get this over with. Um, it just to me, it screams a lot of fake. I do do I believe that Erica was involved in Charlie Kirk's death? Depends who you listen to. I mean, Candace Owens certainly makes a good argument, and she's uncovered a lot of stuff. And she's taking a lot of heat for it because poor Erica, how dare you go after poor Erica, the grieving widow? She never looked like a grieving widow to me. Never. From the beginning, she never did. She tried to squeeze those tears out, but she's definitely not the grieving widow that she wants everybody to believe she is. But that's for another day, another story. All right. Well, I guess that's it for this episode. We'll keep it like we did yesterday, about the same time. Appreciate everybody coming out today. This show will be up for your listening pleasure everywhere pretty soon. All right. Let's find some music to play out of here. All right. We're out of here.
Mic check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Slacker 82 Alpha. Maverick in the booth. Lock the doors. Nobody gets out. Nobody. Left side lying. Right side crying. Think of the names on the ballot. Throw the whole box in the gutter. Red tie, blue tie, same vulture. Feeding on the scraps of the street. You talk big from the hill, but the basement is flooding. Promises rot in the sun, like trash on the curb. I see the wolf in the vest, see the wolf in the vest. You think you are untouchable. I am the heavy hand, I am the cold wake up call. No more handshakes, no more fake smiles, just the raw truth slamming into your chest.